PPPI. In this video, we will talk about the journey of life and how Stoic thoughts and goals can help you win battles easily from Nietzsche's perspective. In our quest to live a virtuous life, each of us, consciously or not, chooses a supreme principle to guide our journey. For some, that principle is wealth. For others, it may be status, social acceptance, happiness, pleasure, love, knowledge, or comfort. Many associate power with the ability to dominate other people, placing them at the service of your needs and desires. However, this is not the kind of power Nietzsche had in mind. For him, the desire to control others is often the manifestation of a weakness or inferiority complex. Or, as he himself expressed it, the desire of the weak to appear some form of superiority. Your instinct runs winding paths towards tyranny over the healthiest. This cannot be unraveled, this desire for power from the weakest, as opposed to power as a Machiavellian control over others. The kind of power that Nietzsche advocated that we seek is one that we internalize and express in our own being. A power, in other words, comparable to what he called growth and expansion. Here, another philosopher stated, the improvement of an already existing skill or activity. For example, an athlete who becomes stronger is increasing his power. A writer who improves her writing is elevating her power. A speaker who develops your public speaking skills. A teacher who perfects his ability to educate. And so, in the book Nietzsche's Values, by John Richardson, he explains the following. Power is more life, not only because of its mere continuity, nor because of its multiplication, but because of the fact that it elevates life to a higher level of capacity and control. Power is the transition to a higher level, self-overcoming. The pinnacle of my life is my growth or strengthening, and this involves not just expanding, but ascending, involving overcoming previous states of myself. And so, in Nietzsche's writings, we find a guide on how to achieve this power. The first step is to formulate an objective that meets 4 conditions. First, the goal must be meaningful and challenging. Secondly, it must promote our health and well-being, or the well-being of others. Third, it must be conducive to the achievement of personal excellence. And fourthly, it must be chosen by ourselves. In other words, an expression of our individuality and authentic aspirations. Or as Nietzsche himself wrote, "For what purpose is humanity here? We should not even worry, because you are here." That you should ask yourself. And if you do not have a ready answer, then set yourself goals high and noble. And once we have a goal that meets these 4 criteria, the second step to achieving power is to dedicate consistent time every day to achieving it. And in doing so, we encounter obstacles and resistance. Doubt, fear, anxiety, laziness haunted us. Lack of time or resources, doubts and criticisms from others, or problems in our health or relationships have obstructed our progress. However, in the context of the search for power, the obstacles, the resistance that arise in our path, represent an opportunity. Because when we face resistance, we are stretching the limits of our mind and body in the quest to overcome it. Thus, we increase our power. Resistance, challenges, are valuable to those who seek power, in the same way that a skilled opponent or enemy is valuable to an ambitious warrior. A warrior becomes more skilled when facing a worthy opponent. Resistances function as catalysts that drive us to improve our capabilities and overcome our weaknesses. Or as Nietzsche once said, "The will to power can only express itself against resistance. It seeks what resists it. All expansion, incorporation, growth is a fight against something that resists. A strong nature needs resistance. Therefore, it seeks resistance." And so, if we adopt what Nietzsche called the game of resistance and victory, which consists of one obstacle that is overcome and immediately followed by another obstacle that is overcome again, we will amplify our power and eventually achieve the goal we have set for ourselves. Same. And then, the third step is to put the goal and everything we have achieved behind us and set our eyes on the next goal that is bigger and more challenging. Whatever I create, however much I love, I must soon oppose it and my affection. This is how the will desires, or as the philosopher Bernard explains in more detail. He who longs for power must certainly not destroy what he has created or hate what is loved. On the contrary, he must overcome what he loved or what he created. The will to power soon impels him to regard any creative achievement, any achieved object of a specific desire, as no longer satisfactory, no longer sufficient. The agent in search of power does not aim for achievements, so to speak, but to achieve what he needs. These are new, fresh, perhaps bigger challenges. And this explains why the search for power manifests itself as growth or self-overcoming. In Nietzsche's book, The Will to Power, he explains that the quest for power does not have an ultimate goal, unless the joy of the cycle is in itself an objective. Here the cycle represents the process of choosing a goal, facing and overcoming resistance, increasing our power, achieving the goal, and then putting our creations and achievements behind us, starting the cycle again. When we structure our lives around the search for power, the search for maximum power, there is a point in time, excluding death, when we stop participating in this cycle, this circle of power. Thus, such a life has no ultimate goal unless joy or great happiness is considered, as the communist philosopher explained, a spontaneous byproduct of repeatedly increasing our power and clarity. However, the quest for power is not without psychological and emotional challenges. We often find ourselves confronted with our own inner demons, such as self-doubt and fear of failure. It is at these times that Nietzsche's philosophy offers us a valuable guide. He reminds us that true power lies not only in external conquest, but also in conquest of ourselves. By confronting and overcoming our own internal limitations, we become truly invincible. Furthermore, it is important to recognize that the quest for power is not a solitary journey. Nietzsche reminds us of the importance of human relationships in our quest for power. It's our friends, family, and mentors who support and encourage us along the way. They offer us not only emotional support, but also challenge us to reach new heights of excellence. Therefore, as we seek power, we must cultivate meaningful relationships and nurture a supportive community around us. Therefore, when we consider Nietzsche's power ethics into our lives, we are called to redefine our understanding of success and achievement. It's not just about accumulating material wealth or achieving positions of power, but about cultivating an existence rich in meaning and purpose. As Nietzsche wrote, a person's true greatness cannot be measured by social status or material wealth, but rather by the depth of his wisdom and the generosity of his spirit. Therefore, as we seek power, we must strive to live a life that inspires and positively impacts those around us. What is happiness? The feeling that power is on the rise, that resistance has been overcome. Joy is just a symptom of the feeling of power achieved. We do not seek joy, it accompanies what we enjoy. In Nietzsche's worldview, it does not require any leap of faith, nor does it encourage us to place our hopes for salvation in something external, be it a god, be it science, be it a politician or ideology. It is a worldview that offers a compelling solution to the problem of suffering. In the quest for power, we often find ourselves faced with the uncertainty of the path forward. Nietzsche recognized that the journey to power is not a paved road, but rather a rugged terrain, full of challenges and unexpected twists. Yet it is precisely in these moments of adversity that our strength is tested and refined. As he stated in his writings, the destiny of many is a winding path. He who navigates the most difficult often finds the most glorious riches. Nietzsche's philosophy invites us to embrace not only victories, but also defeats as an integral part of our journey toward power. He reminds us that it is through resilience, in the face of difficulties, that we truly let's turn on. Thus, by viewing obstacles not as impediments, but as opportunities for growth, we become more capable of achieving not just momentary success, but an existence full of meaning and fulfillment. As Nietzsche proclaimed, He who has a why to live can bear almost any how. That way, by adopting a Nietzschean perspective on life and power, we are challenged to redefine our relationship with suffering and adversity. Instead of seeing them as obstacles to be avoided at all costs, we are invited to embrace them as opportunities for growth and self-transcendence. For it is in the struggle against resistance that we find the true essence of our humanity and the source of our deepest fulfillment. So, by embracing life's journey with courage and determination, we can truly become the architects of our own destiny. The problem with suffering lies in the need for a justification or meaning for our suffering. Otherwise, we become prone to nihilism, disenchantment with the world, and a persistent hatred for life. Nietzsche presents this problem in the following passage. Man, the bravest of animals and the most accustomed to suffering, does not repudiate suffering in itself. He even desires to seek it, as long as he is shown a meaning, a purpose for suffering. The meaninglessness of suffering, not suffering itself, has been the curse that has weighed on humanity until now. And Nietzsche's power ethics offers a practical solution to suffering. If we consider power to be the highest human value, the value that promotes individual flourishing above all, then we must also value the resistances that provide us with the opportunity to increase our power. In other words, suffering is defined by resistance. It is a feeling of pain or distress resulting from being hindered in some way. Therefore, if we value power, we must also value suffering, as it is an essential ingredient of power. Or as Nietzsche explains, human beings do not seek pleasure and avoid displeasure. What human beings want is an increase in power. Driven by this will, they seek resistance. They need something to oppose them. Displeasure as an obstacle to your will to power is, therefore, a normal fact. Human beings do not avoid it. They continually need it. Therefore, if we decide to participate in the cycle of power, that is, the continuous cycle of self-overcoming, we will facilitate the actualization of our potential. We will cultivate the great happiness, the great health that are the prerogative of the seeker of power. Pleasure arises when there is a feeling of power. Happiness in the triumphant consciousness of power and victory, of overcoming. Or, as Nietzsche wrote in Thus Spoke Zarathustra, and life itself confided the secret, behold, she said, I am that which must always surpass itself. If you want to receive your weekly dose of motivation and historical wisdom applied to modern times, subscribe to the channel. I stay here, and until one next video, 2 more excellent classes appear on the screen. Watch them now.